House of Representatives begins moves to reform the police force and even pave way for the emergence of a female Inspector General of Police. Later on the program, I will sit down with the sponsor of the bill that seeks to make the operations of the police force efficient and effective. Also, the coast was clear when Gbajabiamila finally submitted the petition of the Mutual Union of Thieves in America. He also joins us on the program to share his views. You're watching the Hallowed Chambers. I am Tijesu Adeoye. The House of Representatives ad hoc committee on the purchase of arms and ammunition could not ask the Chief of Army Staff questions about the purchase of arms by the Army because Lieutenant General Attairu Ibrahim did not honor the invitation of the lawmakers to appear in person. Instead, he sent a team of officers led by a Major General to represent him at the event. They told the lawmakers that the Army chief, who was newly appointed, is on a tour of formations in the country to get first-hand information on the situation of troops.
And CBN Governor on the 7th of April for both of them to appear before this honorable committee by 2 p.m.
The ad hoc committee is set up to look into purchase and control of arms. We are all aware that there are killings everywhere in this country. Government are even forced to go into negotiations with bandits. And we have said, come and address us, come and tell us how much that have been spent. Taxpayers' money. We represent Nigerians who pay these taxes, and we have said, come and tell us, let us know what has happened. Trillions of naira approved, budgeted and approved by this National Assembly. And of course, you heard us last week, conflicting reports from the security apparatus. Money disappeared, no, I was quoted out of context. These are the things we want to look into. We don't want to sit down here and take a decision or a position. We have given them the right of fair hearing. Come and explain to us what has happened, so that we know if the problem is that the money approved or released, budgeted is not enough. This ad hoc committee can make a recommendation to the House. So we are even trying to help them. Let us know their challenges. Because you cannot tell me that every day the House of Reps will stand up for a minute silent. Every time we sit. Every time. These days, our school children, students, pupils are being kidnapped. What are they encouraging? So you are discouraging those little kids not to have education. Enough is enough. But CBN, the Central Bank Governor, should be careful. The Act of National Assembly created Central Bank of Nigeria. You cannot be more bigger than the law.
The Senate could be inching closer to making legislations to diversify Nigeria's economy from its reliance on petrol dollars. A bill to establish the Nigerian Mineral Development Corporation has scaled second reading on the floor of the Upper Legislative House. Sponsor of the bill, TANKO ALMAKURA, who is also the chairman of the Committee on Mines and Steel Development, says the bill would develop upstream exploration and production, mineral processing, and downstream logistics.
This bill was read for the first time on Tuesday, 29th of September 2020. As part of this administration's effort towards diversification of the Nigerian economy, one of 9 priority areas in stabilizing the macroeconomy by strategically diversifying Nigeria's economy from being a monoproduct economy to the productive development of various sectors of the economy. Next to agriculture, the solid mineral sector has been identified as one with the potential to compete and eventually replace crude oil as a major source of foreign exchange earnings. Consequently, the Economy Recovery and Growth Plan, ERGP, created focus labs made up of professionals from the mining sector to create intervention programs to de-risk the solid mineral sector and increase revenue for all stakeholders, making the sector more attractive to both local and foreign investors.
And support to this very important bill. Mr. President, you will recall that I think it was in March or immediately we resumed that I came up with a motion on the need to diversify our economy through agriculture, development of our minerals, resources, and the like.
Also in the Senate, a new caucus has emerged. It is the Southern Senators Forum chaired by Gbajabiamila representing Ekiti Central Senatorial District in the National Assembly. But one strong message from the group is that Nigeria remains one indivisible country despite the current challenges. Gbajabiamila pledged to hold the position in trust and ensure Nigeria's unity. The Southern Senators will also work to strengthen the leadership of the Senate.
We get the message that it's a position we are holding on trust, and it's a position that we all know also requires us to be at our best in order to be able to manage our unity in diversity. And like you said, we also look forward to working to further strengthen the leadership of the Senate itself, while also providing a voice, for our people that we are here to represent, and also doing all we can to ensure that the unity of Nigeria that we are all looking to strengthen, that we're able to also use the platform, for that purpose.
We are united behind the leadership of the 9th Senate, headed by Dr. Ahmed Lawan. It was a leadership we put in place. We put it in place then, we supported it then, we're supporting it now, and we'll continue to support the leadership.
A public hearing on the bill to strengthen the Police Service Commission to be more functional in its operations, and also a bill for the establishment of the National Institute for Police Studies, has started a new conversation around the efficiency and effectiveness of the leading security organization in the country. Speaker FEMI Gbajabiamila even wants a system that will weed out officers he calls rotten eggs that can spoil the whole basket.
Police Service Commission Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2020 was the first attempt to institute an independent system for holding erring police officers to account for abuse of power and related misconduct in office. There are, let me very quickly say, there are a zillion or gazillion good policemen. There are, in fact, a good majority of our policemen are men, gentlemen, and officers, upstanding, professional. But we all know there's the popular saying that a rotten egg can spoil the whole basket. We must attempt to weed out the few rotten eggs that seem to give the police force, men and women who lay their lives and put their lives out there on a daily for you and I.
Want to thank you most sincerely for coming up with these very critical matters that affect the security of this country. Indeed, the law being proposed to amend the Police Service Commission is very timely, as we cannot have it at any better time than now, when we need a highly disciplined police service in this country.
And I'm pretty sure that when the chairman of our Police Service Commission comes to speak, he's going to defend why there should be no discrimination in the appointment of the chairman of the commission. Because putting a clause to say that a retired police officer or a retired inspector general of police should not head the place will be discriminatory. And to send a very bad precedence. Other organizations will take to that too. But maybe a phrase may be put there to say a technocrat, somebody that has experience and the rest of them.
I'm happy to initiate bills that have direct bearing with the life and properties of the Nigerian people to an extent that strategic stakeholders in this country are able to be in attendance to contribute in ensuring that we have come out with a bill that stands the test of time. We have come up with a bill that guarantees police reform. One, the Police Service Commission bill is to address disparity between the Nigerian police force, which is the Inspector General of Police, and the Police Service Commission themselves. You know, prior to this time, 10,000 police constables are being recruited yearly. But over the years, the recruitment was stopped. Reason being that Police Service Commission took some matters to court as to who's have the right to recruit Nigerian police constable as well as the police cadet. And court give judgment, the lower court. It was appealed by the Police Service Commission. The appeal court gave judgment, and now they are before the Supreme Court. I wouldn't want to go into the judicial matter, but again, I know whether the matter is in court, it doesn't stop the National Assembly from making legislation that will even address the gray area that even make people to go to court in the first instance. So I'm sure if the Police Service Commission Amendment Bill is passed, which has scaled through second reading, and this committee is expected to present a report to the House of Representatives for ensuring that the House of Reps pass it to third reading. If that is satisfied, it will go a long way in addressing those disparity by creating job opportunity to the people of this, to the youth of this country, so that the issue of 10,000 recruitment annually will continue by either this administration or previous administration. Aside of ensuring the safety and security of the Nigerian citizen, the amendment to the Police Service Commission bill will equally create job opportunity to Nigerian people. I think if I will succeed in getting this done, I will beat my chest that I have equally succeeded in creating 10,000 jobs annually to the Nigerian people. But again, on the National Institute of Police Studies, this is to provide training and retraining of the Nigerian police. In different organizations, you see people retire from those organizations and become professors or retire as professors. But because Nigerian police doesn't have the National Institute of Police Studies, we cannot have professors as retirees from the Nigerian police. Why do we have NSAS? Why do we have police brutality? Why do we have abuses of fundamental human rights of the citizens of this country? It's because there is no adequate training within the Nigerian police force. So the National Institute of Police Studies will be able to provide advanced training to the Nigerian police officers, so much so that police and policing, crime and criminality is dynamic. By the time this law comes to be in place, training are provided. The issue of dynamism in both policing and crime and criminality is addressed. Thirdly, there will be support, both in terms of funding and in terms of training by international community. But those international community equally need an institution of the Nigerian police that is established by an institution, legal institution of Nigeria, being that is the House of Representatives. So by the time we do that, the police will equally expect foreign support and foreign training from those international communities that are very vast in training and retraining of their own police. It will go a long way in addressing issue of NSAS brutality, police brutality, abuses of human rights, and many other things.
Speaker FEMI Gbajabiamila says the House of Reps cannot discriminate against any Nigerian wherever they may be in any part of the world. The Speaker said the controversy that erupted from the refusal of the Deputy Speaker to accept a petition submitted by Honorable Makbila came from the issue of signature. He also allowed the petition to be submitted and thanked the lawmaker for his patience.
Been a lot of misunderstanding on that petition. I believe it has been, it is signed, right?
Yes,
by the petitioners.
Yes,
okay, I think that's where the misunderstanding came from. And let me just say this very quickly. The House of Representatives does not discriminate against Nigerians wherever they may be, whatever the remotest part of the world they may be. They remain Nigerians. I think the misunderstanding came from the issue of signatures. And I must say also that the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable YUSUF, has been one of the champions for diaspora voting, and he was also involved very much in the creation of the Diaspora Committee in this House some years back. So I think having cleared that misunderstanding, please go ahead and lay your petition, which will be given proper and due attention.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Magwila, and thank you for your patience. Apologies to the TIF people.
Joining me now on the program is Honorable Makbila, representing Gwer East, Gwer West Federal Constituency. It's good to have you on the program, sir. How did you view those reactions in and out of the country that trailed what transpired between you and the Deputy Speaker over your petition?
Well, let me start by saying that first and foremost, I was obviously quite flustered that day on the floor. If you can see, if you can remember from my reaction, because it is not something I expected based on the provisions of our rules, and unfortunately, I didn't have the rule book on that day to refer to. And obviously, I was quite unhappy that my fundamental statutory role of representation had been hindered by my not being able to submit that petition. And I was quite proud of the reaction of Nigerians in diaspora who rose up to stand in support of the TIV people, the TIV nation, and the MZO-TIV, that is the Mutual Union of the TIV people in America, who presented the original petition. It was good to see and gratifying that Nigerians also know their rights. And of course, it was part of what I was unhappy about, that the rights of my compatriots in diaspora was being hindered as well. And obviously, it was important to clarify certain things which I didn't have the chance to do. But fortunately, your station also provided me the opportunity to clarify that. And that was the issue of the fact that Nigerians, even if they have dual citizenship, have a right to present a petition or any issue on the floor. It is not illegal to have dual citizenship, and the fact that you don't need to be registered with CAC, even though the organization in question is registered with the CAC, but you don't have to register based on provisions of Section 40 of the Constitution, which is an unalienable right that Nigerians have, freedom of association.
Finally, you have laid the petition. Would you say you were indulged by the Speaker?
Okay, no. I wouldn't say I was indulgent. Fortunately, I would say that even Mr. Speaker was eager for, and many of my colleagues were eager, both on varying political platforms, all were in support of the petition being presented. They themselves were being harassed daily by their own compatriots in diaspora. Some of them are diasporans themselves who came back to come and seek election. So they know the import and the implication of what precedence was being set on the floor. So I would say that it was not an indulge, it was not being indulged. Mr. Speaker very honorably accepted the petition in line with the provisions of our rules to put paid to this issue, which was obviously an unfortunate incident.
Why was it difficult for your colleagues to rise in your defense? Rather, we had one calling you to order.
Let me say that this honorable house is replete with Ivy League educated people, people of high repute in their professions. That incident, you know, it occurred at the beginning of plenary. Petitions are usually submitted at the beginning of plenary. Some members were still coming in. So I think the full import of the situation had not dawned on some of my colleagues who were around at the time, you know, and the chief whip who made that statement to be guided, I think he was the one who needed to be guided, because he probably didn't take time to think about the circumstance or look at the rules with regards to petitions, because petitions stand laid. They are not at the discretion of the presiding officer to question. It stands laid and referred. Then the Committee on Public Petitions now decides whether it meets the provisions. That is the rule. So I believe it was an unfortunate situation that even took my own colleagues by surprise before most of them got a full input of what was going on. So I think I would want to give them that benefit of the doubt.
Take us through the issues in the petition.
Well, the issue fundamentally is the fact that we are asking for the federal government of Nigeria to resettle the Tiv people who have been displaced from their ancestral lands in Benue, Nasarawa, Taraba, and other neighboring states. We are asking that those Fulani headsmen who have occupied their lands be driven out, for the people to reclaim their land. We are asking for security to be provided by the federal government to guarantee the safety of these Tiv indigenous people who are going back to their lands. We're asking for the support of the federal government financially and otherwise in providing the ability for these people to be resettled and the necessary infrastructure to be put in place. That brings me to the point to remind Mr. President, who I believe had instructed his Vice President to make a pronouncement in May 2018 about 10 billion naira being made available for the resettlement of IDPs in Benue and other states who were affected by herdsmen attacks. Till date, not a dime, not a kobo of that money has been released. And we think that that is unacceptable. We feel as if we're being told we're not citizens of this country, and we do not take that lightly. So I'm asking Mr. President to, with immediate effect, put an honorable response to that statement by his Vice President by making sure these funds are released. And we will soon be looking into a North Central Development Commission, because it will take us decades to be able to restore our people to their ancestral homes across the Middle Belt and the North Central region of Nigeria.
That's our program for this week. Do not forget to follow us on all our social media platforms to get more updates from the National Assembly. Also follow me on Twitter to continue the conversation. My handle is @TJesu_TVC. Thank you for watching. See you next time.